Hi guys. So I did my second Hyrox and it broke me. You usually think when you're doing something for the second time or the third time, it would be easier. Easier because you already know it, you've been through it before. So the next time should be fairly easier, at least mentally. But it wasn't. There was definitely a build up to why it wasn't easy and why it broke me, which I'll get to during the episode. But it taught me a lot of things. And even though I did not enjoy it, I'm glad I did it. I mean, I was glad I did it after it was done, not before. Let me tell you why I did High Rocks. It's not my first tough sport. I've done marathon before. I have done a few half marathons before. And Hyrox was something a little different. It combines both strength and endurance. And I love strength workout. So I thought, why not try it? So the first time I did it, you know, as a beginner, everybody's goal usually is to finish, right? Or most people just aim to finish their first race. I mean, some people end up having a very decent goal and good for them. But for me, it was just about enjoying the race, experiencing the race, and finishing it. And that's exactly what happened. So, my first one was in Sharjah, and I went in with the mindset that I want to go experience the race. I'm not going to push myself too hard. I want to test my limits. And then from there, I'll take it to the second one. Also, the training for the first one was for about 3 months. So I do have strength and running background, which helped, but putting them together is what prepared me to do my first high rocks. And then I set a benchmark. I was like, okay, this is my benchmark after finishing the first high rocks. And I finished it in a I wouldn't say easy, but I was satisfied. Like I felt like I could still do more when I finished the race. I was like, okay, definitely can do better next time. So, anyways, coming to the second high rocks, which I did in Abu Dhabi, I wasn't very disciplined with my training. And I wasn't disciplined because for me, I love to enjoy my training. And I traveled in between. So I went on vacation and I traveled for work. So I didn't have the opportunity to go to those high rocks classes. I was still training, doing strength training and running, but wasn't committed to the structured training itself, which is fine. I knew what I was doing, and my goal was to do my second high rocks better than the first one. So comes Abu Dhabi, my second high rocks, and the 2 weeks prior, or specifically the week prior, I was super burnt out physically and mentally. I was just doing too much training, too much work, and the last week building to high rocks, I did not even train. I just did one training session and one shakeout run before the competition because I needed to get that rest so I can perform at Hyrox Abu Dhabi. And I felt anxious. Like there were so many times in my head where I just felt like I might just drop out. That feeling and that thought came to my head so many times. And I only kept telling myself, no, Khulud, you signed up for this. You got to do it. This is the mindset I was going with. I was like, I'll definitely do better than the first one. I just need to go and finish it because I committed to it. Um, So it was a lot of mental games, a lot of also physical games because I was burnt out. So comes the race day. People ask me, how do you feel? And I'm like, honestly, I'm super anxious. I'm super nervous. I think the anxiety and the nervousness came because of the lack of preparation and because I was so tired physically and mentally. So I was just like, I didn't know what to expect, but I still had something in mind. Like at the end, I just wanted to go finish the race better than the first one. So I arrived to the venue 2 hours before. I go, I meet few people, I take a look at the venue just to visualize and understand how the course looks like and to get myself mentally prepared. Then I warmed up and there goes my race. It started at 4:10 p.m. So I had the beginning of the day to have my breakfast, have my coffee, to relax, to mentally speak to myself, to do some mobility. So I started at 4:10 and the first run was okay. I get to the first few stations, I'm okay. But then at some point when I got to the sleds, that was very tough. Something about it, I don't know, I think it's the carpet because I've done it before. And actually, I did very well in my first Hyrox on the sleds. But this one, it was tough. The carpets were making it even more difficult for the sleds to move. And at some point, when I was doing the runs after, I had side stitches. When I got to the lunges, I had back pain. So I did have a few hiccups during the competition. And overall, all I kept doing was talking to myself and saying, you got to do this, you got to finish. It's tough. And I kept doing also like mind calculations. Like, honestly speaking, I just wanted to be to my last time. And at some point, when I was getting to the last couple of stations in my head, I was like, at this point, I don't even care about beating my last time. I just want to finish because pulling out was not something that I was willing to do. I signed up for this. I wasn't in enough pain for me to leave to say, okay, I'm going to get myself injured. I need to tap out. So I had to make sure I finish. I finished the last station. The wobbles were very tough. I took few breaks in between. And as soon as I got to the finish line, I started crying. It was very overwhelming, not just physically, but mentally. And I think I was holding to all that stress from the weeks before. And I just let it out when I got to the finish. You might ask, like, why? Why do you do this to yourself? Honestly speaking, humans love pain, and pain is subjective, but we like to be uncomfortable. And for me, this was a test to push myself. I love to push my limits. So even though I didn't do better than my first High Rocks, timing wise, added to my first timing, I was feeling accomplished that I finished it because only I knew the mental game and the physical game and the stress that I was going through. I spoke to myself the entire time I was racing. And like people would be cheering for me, and all I can hear is the voices in my head. So it is good to be uncomfortable. It is good to try different things. It just gives that sense of, I can do this. And when I finished it, I said, I don't think I want to do this again. But now that time has passed, I think I would do it again. Definitely would want to be better prepared. The race was something I celebrated. I celebrated my body for being able to go through this. I celebrated that my psyche, that mentally I was able to do this. So it's not always about beating your time or being on the podium. We all do have different goals, and that was my goal. My goal is never to be on the podium. I especially when it comes to sports. For me, sports is more about celebrating what my body and my mind can do. So later on, I was like, okay, let me check my splits. I want to see how I actually did. Where did I go wrong? And it turns out I've done better on every station compared to the first one, except the sleds. So I'm telling you, those sleds, the carpets, there's something wrong with them that made things much heavier. And I was like, okay, so I understand what went wrong, right? It's good to reflect. For me, it's just to reflect on what really happened. And obviously, because I had some few side stitches while I was running, that also impacted my running. So it was a minute and a half longer than my first one combined. Now that I'm like thinking about it and actually talking to you guys about it, I think I would do it again. Not sure when, not sure how I'm going to train. I haven't planned anything yet, but yeah, I would do it again. If there's something that I would tell you, I mean, everybody has their own goal to why they do things, but if there's one thing I could tell you, Hyrox, anybody can do it. If you train for it, you can definitely do it. It doesn't matter what time you finish, you who can still do it. That's one. Two, get used to being uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable is what makes you grow. You build resilience. This is how you become resilient. And it's not just resilience to sports, to like that specific sports. You become resilient in life. You learn that you get your mind and body used to dealing with tough situations. So it's prepared. Sports is not just about looking good or feeling good. It also prepares you in life. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And this one is very personal to me. So if you like this one, please subscribe, share, and stay tuned for the next one. See you soon.